Hey everybody, and welcome to this edition of Shit Talking, bonus episode number 6, hashtag stay at home edition episode number 5. On today's show, I'm going to tell you some ways that you can spend your time when you're retired, and I'll introduce you to a woman named Stella. So first up, I want to address a viewer email I got. Thank you for sending it. I hope this answers your question. The question that was posed was, why do my bonus episode numbers and my hashtag bonus episode numbers not match? Thank you for asking. It's an easy question, easy answer. I filmed my first bonus episode, the episode where I tell you why I chose to do this because of my friend Mitchell and my mental history. And after at that time, we had planned on doing a show. We had a film date. We had the whole show written, ready to go. And then COVID happened and the lockdown began. And so, or stay at home order or whatever you want to call it. And so that's when we all as a group decided to wait until after the lockdown and once things kind of start getting back to normal, or what we can consider normal now. I started posting the stay-at-home one to help me when I'm bored during this stay-at-home order, and you guys as well, to keep you guys entertained. And so I had already filmed and posted that one when I started my stay-at-home edition. And so that's why the numbers are different. So I apologize for that. I thought I explained that in another episode, but I did watch them back and I didn't. So thank you for asking that question, and I hope that answered your question. Yesterday while I was at work, I was there for 8 hours by myself, and I only had 6 people walk in the door, 4 purchases, 2 non. Excuse me. And so I was bored, and I decided to finally watch the episode that I had posted the night before, which would have been Friday night. And Friday night, I threw a show together, wrote the show, put it in the computer, filmed it, and posted it all in 4 hours. And the quality sucked. I apologize. I hope you were at least able to find some humor and entertainment in it. But I'm sorry. And while I was at work yesterday, as bored as I was, I just threw together an episode again. So I hope that today's episode makes up for that and entertains you also. Today's monologue, I'm going to do like I did the other night, and I chose a topic, and I'm going to talk about that one topic. Today's topic is about being gay. And I want you all to know, and I'm proud, I am a gay man. Just in case you guys are headless, blind, deaf, or dead. That's serious. That wasn't a joke I found on the website. I will put the website that I found these jokes in the description below, so check out that website. I obviously didn't use all of them. I just used the ones that best fitted me. Also, I have a short monologue today because there's something I want to talk about before I actually begin the entire show. So, but I want to get the jokes out of the way. So, yeah. That sound, of course, means I have a disclaimer I need to read. So here we go. I tell you these jokes for fun. I do not intend on insulting anyone. If you find these offensive, I apologize. I tried to find the least offensive ones. But if I do, I apologize. Please don't send me any hate email. So hold on tight. Here we go with today's cheesy monologue. I work at an office where I'm the only gay man. I work in an office where I'm the only gay man, as most people would say, the token gay. My coworkers treat me like I'm some sort of exotic gay pet. Like, for example, my boss will ask me to recommend a trendy restaurant for her to eat at, or the secretary will ask me to critique her outfit. The guy in marketing will ask what it feels like to get in the ass. And I'm like, dude, you work in marketing. You know what it's like. Back when I used to watch American Idol, one of my favorite contestants was Catherine McPhee. In an episode, she sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and they cut away to her father in the audience who was crying. It really moved me because back when I was a little kid, my dad used to cry when I sang that song too. What do you call a black gay guy? A church choir director. When women sleep around, they're considered sluts. When gay men sleep around, it's considered networking. You guys all know the gay motto, right? If you can't have a happy home, wreck one. It's very stereotypical of a gay men being promiscuous, and it's extremely offensive. I guarantee you, the thousands of men I slept with will agree. Gay dating is a nightmare. All anyone's ever looking to do anymore is on Grindr. At least they get right to the point. On Tinder, they make you have an hour-long conversation and then ask you to bring your 3 roommates over for a gangbang. My roommates and I are always ready for a gangbang whenever, but don't make me do all the typing first. The best part of being part of the LGBTQ plus community is going for specific medical procedures and actually getting excited about them. Like, for example, I went for an endoscopy and colonoscopy at the same time. Basically, I had one up me, one down me, and as in our community say, the perfect date. And finally, shut up. I get more compliments when I go to gay clubs. Guys come up to me all the time and say, your voice reminds me of Barry White. I always take it as a compliment. He had a hot, sexy, deep voice. Then when my friends tell me that he really said Betty White, which is still okay because of the Golden Girls, she's still the only one alive. So I'm going to move on to, okay, I get it. I'm going to move on to what I wanted to talk about prior to actually starting my segments, and this is it. Yesterday, I had a customer walk in, and I'm going to tell you about that situation, but first I want to preface it by saying I'm 37 years old, and I've been working since I was 16, maybe even 15. But at least for 21 years, I've been working in the customer service realm. In a lot of the circumstances, I was in management. And I know how to deal with weird customers. Like, for example, this guy came in, and I have to say this because it's the reason he was upset with me. But he was an elderly black man. And he came in and tried to exchange a pair of slippers that were obviously at least 4 years old. He didn't have a receipt. They were all frayed and ripped up and faded. And we didn't even sell that slipper anymore. Nothing even like that slipper. And I'm trying to explain this to him, and I'm using the excuse that he doesn't have a receipt. This isn't my store. I'm just filling in for somebody. They'll be back tomorrow, so please come back and see him. Maybe he'll do it for you. I don't know, but I just don't feel comfortable doing it because it's not my store. Well, then, with a store full of people, he started accusing me of being racist and not respecting minorities. And I'm like, dude, I'm a homo. I'm a minority also. Well, back at that time, we were minorities, but we're not so much anymore. And so I know how to deal with weird customer issues. Yesterday, I had a customer come in, and he had been to one of our competitors, and I'm not going to say the name because basically I don't remember it. And he came from one of our competitors, and he said he had been doing some research on CBD. And because he was getting ready to start doing it, he wanted to know the science behind it and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, great. So I was giving him a consultation, and I gave him one of the bottles to look at. And he turns it around, and he said, so what kind of CBD is in here? I said, sir, CBD is an ingredient in it. What do you mean? He's like, no, CBD stands for cannabinoid, which is the blanket term, or I'm sorry, cannabidol. No, he said cannabinoid. No, he said cannabidol was the blanket term, and that cannabinoid was one of the oils or ingredients in it. And I went back and forth with him for a couple minutes about it, and So I'm trying to explain to him, no, sir, it's the opposite. CBD is cannabidiol, and it is a cannabinoid. So he thought the opposite. We're going back and forth for probably about 20 minutes. At one point, I'm standing behind the counter because I'm just getting so outraged by this guy, because he's one of my pet peeves, and you can ask anyone that I know, is when people don't listen to me. Listen to me, because I'm trying to explain this to you. It's like going to WebMD. When I was in the medical field, people would always go to WebMD and say, this is what's wrong with it. No, it's not. You don't have emphysema just because you cut your finger, you know? So anyway, at one point when we're going back and forth about this, my computer was sitting on the desk, and he like starts to turn it around. He goes, well, let's just look it up. I said, oh, okay, that's fine. And I turn it back towards me. I'm like, I'll look it up for you. So I Google searched CBD, or I can't remember what exactly I Google searched. But the first article I pulled up was from the Today Show. And I turned the computer around, and I pointed right to it. My finger followed word by word what I was saying. And I said, sir, it says cannabidiol, also known as CBD, is one of many cannabinoids, which is basically what I was trying to tell him. And he's like, no, that's from the Today Show. So there's no science behind that. He pulls out his phone. He's like, let me show you what I found. And so he starts searching on his phone. He goes, it's right here. He goes, cannabidol, also known as CBD, is a cannabinoid, because he started realizing that's what I was saying for the past now at least half an hour. Sir, you're weird. Quit thinking like you know everything about something you don't know about. You said yourself you don't know about it and that you're researching it. So that, sir, is why you are our official first ever douchebag award recipient. Get it? It's a bag and it says douche on it. Ha ha ha, it's a douchebag. So what I'm going to do after I get a new bag, because this one's all wrinkled up, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start writing those down and putting them in it. And so that way one day we can go back and read through all of our douche bag award recipients. So congratulations, sir. You are this show's first ever official douchebag award recipient. So let's move on to the show today. Excuse me. As I said in my open, I was going to introduce you to a woman named Stella. Well, this Stella Liebeck, in 1992, when she was 79 years old, she spilled a cup of coffee from McDonald's onto her lap, burning herself. A New Mexico jury awarded her $2.9 million in damages, but that's not the whole story. Ever since then, the name Stella Award has been applied to any wild, outrageous, or ridiculous lawsuits, including some infamous bogus cases. I got these. Went to this website, StellaAwards.com. There were many there. I picked my 10 favorites. I will put the link in the description below, like I did with my monologue jokes. Please go to StellaAwards.com and read the rest of what I didn't pick. So without further ado, it's time for a riveting segment of The 10. Number 10. Every time you visit the doctor, you're told the same old things. Eat less, exercise more, and quit smoking. But do you listen? Never. No one does. Neither did Kathleen Ann McCormick, the obese, cigarette-smoking woman from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. She had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and a family history of coronary artery disease, yet the doctors at the Department of Veterans Affairs Medical Center, quote, did not do enough, end quote, to convince her to work to improve her own health. Not surprisingly, she had a heart attack, which she says in a federal lawsuit left her, quote, cardiac invalid, end quote. In addition to the 8 doctors she's suing their employer, the U.S. government, demanding $1 million in compensation. Number 9. In 1997, Bob Kraft, then 39s of Hot Springs, Montana, legally changed his name to Jackass. Now, he says that MTV's TV show and movie, Jackass, plagiarized from him, infringing on his trademark and copyrights, also demeaning and damaging his public image. No attorney would take the case, so he filed the lawsuit on his own against MTV's corporate parent company, demanding $50 million in damages. If nothing else, Jackass proved to himself that he chose his name well. Number 8. Sean Perkins of Laurel, Indiana, was struck by lightning in the parking lot, so was my friend Adam, ha ha ha, of Paramount Kings Island Amusement Park in Mason, Ohio. A classic act of God, right? Nope. Perkins' attorney says, quote, that would be a lot of people's knee-jerk reactions in these type of situations, end quote. The lawyer has filed a lawsuit against the amusement park asking for unspecified damages, arguing that the park, get this, should have warned people not to be standing outside during a thunderstorm. Number 7. After making over a cool $1 million in the stock market, Cole Barterimo, 18 of Mission Vale, California, and the feds made him pay it back. They said he gained his profits using fraud. Barterimo played baseball at the school, but after his fraud case broke, no longer was allowed to play or participate in extracurricular sports. Barterimo clearly learned a lot while sitting in the federal court, so he wrote and filed his own lawsuit against the high school. He claimed that he had planned on having a pro baseball career, but since he was kicked off the school's team, pro scouts were not able to discover him. His suits were demanded that the school reimburse him for the great salary he would have made in the majors, which he figured would have been a cool $50 million. Number 6. After Wanda Hudson, 44 of Mobile, Alabama, lost her home to a foreclosure, she moved her belongings to a storage unit. She says she was inside her unit one night looking for some papers when the yard manager found the door to her unit ajar and locked it. She denies that she was sleeping inside, but incredibly did not call for help or bang on the door to be let out. She was not found for 63 days and barely survived. The formerly plump 150-pound woman lived on the food she apparently just happened to have in the unit and was a mere 83 pounds when she was found. She sued the storage yard for $10 million, claiming negligence, even though the jury was not allowed to learn that Hudson had previously been diagnosed with mental problems. It found that Hudson was nearly 100% responsible for her own predicament, but still awarded her $100,000. Sorry, my throat's really dry. Doug Baker, 45 of Portland, Oregon, says, quote, God steered him to a stray dog, end quote. He admits, quote, people thought I was crazy to spend $4,000 in vet bills to bring this injured mutt back to health, but hey, it was God's dog, end quote. $4,000, though, was nothing. He couldn't even take his girlfriend out on a date without getting a dog sitter to watch the dog. When the skittish dog escaped the sitter, Baker didn't just put an ad in the paper, he bought display ads to include a photo. In short, his business collapsed since he devoted full time to the search of the dog. He didn't propose to his girlfriend because he wanted the dog to deliver the letter or the ring, and hired 4 animal psychics to give him clues as to the animal's whereabouts. He also hired a witch to cast spells, also going as far as even spreading his own urine around to mark his territory, to try and lure the dog home. He said he cried every night, and 2 months into the search, finally decided to go to the place where he originally found the dog, which was exactly where he found the dog. Number 4. Mary Ubauti of Madison County, Illinois, was a passenger in a car that happened to get into an accident. But she put the most blame on, of course, The deepest pockets available, Mazda Motors, who made the car she was riding in. Ubauti demands in excess of over $150,000 from the automaker, claiming it, quote, failed to provide instructions regarding the safe and proper use of a seatbelt, end quote. One only hopes that when Mazda's attorneys swear her in court, they will make her announce that she has never worn a seatbelt, never flown on an airliner, and is too stupid to figure out how to use a seatbelt. Number 3. A prankster smeared glue all over the seat of a Home Depot toilet in Louisville, Colorado, causing Robert Doherty to get stuck to it when he sat down. He clearly proclaimed that this was not Home Depot's fault. Keep that in mind. Yet while the store offered him an gracious $2,000 in settlement anyway, Doherty complained, again being not their fault, said the offer was insulting, and filed a suit demanding $3 million. Number 2. Rhonda Nichols said a wild bird attacked her outside of a home improvement store in Fairview Heights, Illinois, causing head injuries. That's right, outside the store. Yet Nichols still held the Lowe's store responsible for allowing loud birds to, get this, fly around free in the air. She never reported the incident to the store and still sued for at least $100,000 in damages. In January of 2006, the case was thrown out of court. And the funniest, in my opinion, Stella Award, Bernard Lawrence of Stuart, Florida, managed to overdraw his bank account. When the bank charged him a service fee for the overdraft, he filed a lawsuit claiming, quote, stress and pain and loss of sleep over the fee, end quote. A few $100,000, he says, would only amount to a slap on the wrist. So he sued for $2 million, saying that was more of a spanking. So my next segment, What's Wrong Here, is not like the other two What's Wrong Here segments I've done. I personally don't know what my friend's father did to get in trouble and banned from their local Walmart. So I thought I'd share a letter with you that that my friend's mother received from the Walmart shortly after the dad retired. So here's an exciting new episode or segment of What's Wrong Here. Dear Mrs. Smith, over the past 6 months, your husband has caused quite a commotion here at our store, and we no longer can tolerate this behavior. We have been forced to ban both of you from our store. Our complaints against your husband, Mr. Smith, are listed below and documented by our surveillance cameras. On June 15th, he took 24 boxes of condoms and randomly put them in other people's carts when they weren't looking. On July 2nd, he set all of the alarm clocks and housewares to go off in 5-minute intervals. On July 7th, he made a trail of tomato juice on the floor leading to the women's restroom. On July 19th, he walked up to an employee and, in an official voice, said, quote, code 3 in housewares, get on it right away. This caused the employee to leave her assigned station and receive a reprimand from her supervisor that, in turn, resulted in a union grievance, causing management to lose time and costing the company money. Also, we don't have a code 3. August 4th, went to the service desk and tried to put a bag of M&Ms on layaway. On August 14th, moved a caution wet floor sign to a carpeted area. On August 15th, set up a tent in the camping department and told children shoppers he'd invite them in if he would bring pillows and blankets from the bedding department. 20 children obliged. On August 23rd, when the clerk asked if he needed any help, he began crying and screamed, why can't you people just leave me alone? EMTs were called. On September 4th, looked right in the security camera, used the mirror while he picked his nose. On September 10th, while handling guns in the hunting department, asked the clerk, where are your antidepressants? On October 3rd, darted around the store suspiciously while loudly humming the Mission Impossible theme. On October 6th, in the auto department, he practiced his Madonna look using different size of funnels. And October 18th, hid in a clothing rack when people browsed through them, yelled, pick me, pick me! On October 3rd, darted around the store suspiciously and loud. I already read that one, sorry. When an announcement came on October 22nd, when an announcement came over the loudspeaker, he assumed the fetal position and screamed, "Oh no, it's the voices again!" He also took a box of condoms to the checkout clerk and asked where the fitting rooms were. And last but not least, on October 23rd, went into a fitting room, shut the door, waited a while, and then yelled very loudly, "Hey, there's no toilet paper in here." One of our clerks passed out. Again, I ask, what's wrong here? Those are actually pretty brilliant ideas, and he should be given credit for those. That's a great idea. I mean, what else can you do? So, while I was home during the during the shutdown, I was eating some peanut butter, and my dog came over and started licking my dick. I'm sorry, everybody, but I think I smell smoke, which can only mean one thing. It's time for Ya Burnt! Dish. You licked my dish. First up, quinoa. Quinoa, could you be any more difficult to spell? The only time I'm happy to see those letters is in my Scrabble rack. You're not fooling anyone. You're just brown rice that studied abroad for a semester. Also, where's your taste? If I have to use an entire bottle of sriracha to make something edible, it's not good. Quinoa, what are you still doing here, ya Bert? The Beatles. In a recent interview, Paul McCartney admitted that he and John Lennon masturbated in front of each other when they were younger. I guess happiness really is a warm gun. From here on out, the answer to "Do you want to know a secret?" is hell to the no. Also, Beatles, if I wanted to watch a band jerk off, I'd go to a Fish concert, Sideburn Fish. Beatles, give yourself a hand, cause you burnt. High school math. You're as useless as deodorant at a Burning Man. You know how I know that trigonometry is useless? The last time I remember saying the word trigonometry was in the 90s when I said, "I'm glad this is the last day of trigonometry." Seriously, did Pythagoras ever have any theories as to when this would be relevant in my life? Because a squared plus b squared equals c squared doesn't help me when I'm riding the D train to buy some E to get F'd in the G, and don't ask me what the G is because I don't know. High school math, pencils down, you burnt. Vontae Davis, you recently walked off your job with the Buffalo Bills during halftime of a game, thus fulfilling a dream everyone who has ever had a crappy dream has had. Next time you feel the urge to walk off your job halfway through your shift at Chili's, tell your boss you're pulling a Vontae. That you are an inspiration, Vontae Davis, and that is why you are this episode's Unburnable. Congratulations, and move on, my friend. Next up, pirates. How can you be pirates if you got an eye patch, a peg leg, and a hook? Should you really be the captain of a ship? It seems like you're pretty accident prone to me. Also, you can't be menacing when you have a parrot on your shoulder. Arr, give me all your gold and some melon for me cockatoo. Time to jump ship, pirates, cause you burnt. Post-movie credit scenes. If you're so great, why didn't you make it into the movie? It's been 2.5 hours and I gotta piss, but no, I gotta stick around to see if Thor pops up to wink at the camera again. What are you going to reveal besides that there's an obscene number of people that work on movies and that the auto effects engineer has a crazy nickname? Post-movie credit scenes, you burnt. People who clap when the plane lands. What are you so excited about? Landing safely is not a twist ending. Try having more composure than a 1-year-old who saw keys jingle for the first time. There's only 2 times you should clap on a plane. When Sully successfully lands on the Hudson, and when 2 people come out clearly just joined the Mile High Club exit the bathroom. Also, before you applaud, could you make sure that everyone is excited to arrive as you are? Because I think the lady sitting next to you is coming to Vegas to pull the plug on Grandma. People who clap when the plane lands, clap at this. You burnt. Speaking of burnt, sunburns. Ah, sunburns, the societal disadvantage of being white. You turn me so red, my body feels like the 216 electoral map Sideburn Democrats. Seriously, I haven't been burned this bad since a lady, told me that the best thing of this show were my co-hosts. I explained to her that they haven't even been on the show yet, and she said, I know, and walked off. Time to peel off sunburns, cuz you burnt. Flip-flops. Who was the crazy person who looked at a big toe and thought, that would look great in a thong? Flip-flops are appropriate for the beach, the pool, and that's it. Here's a rhyme to help you remember. If the distance to water is more than 3 blocks, do us a favor and wear socks. Flip-flops, flop this. Yubber. Ice cream trucks. Ah, the Pied Piper of diabetes. Nothing better than a truck that gets kids immediately running into the street. Hey, why do your popsicles don't look like the picture? Because my SpongeBob looks like he survived Chernobyl. Also, ice cream trucks, would you quit playing that creepy song? What's that song called anyway? Kidnapping in C minor? Ice cream trucks, you better grab a Freezy Pop, cuz you hurt. Oh, that sound means we're out of time for this segment and for this show. And I just want to point out really quick, if you look at the picture, I found this picture without even realizing he's actually holding a SpongeBob Ice Pop. Just a little tidbit of trivia. Also, if you're interested in trivia, let me tell you this. The last episode I did was the first episode I've ever done without a Blackhawk shirt on. Yeah. So, on a sad note, I hate ending the show on a sad note, but I have to because I need you guys to send your thoughts and condolences to some people. I got a push notification on my phone yesterday on my way to work with some breaking news. An infant, a child, and their mother, who was only 26 years old, were killed overnight, Friday night, in Lexington, Illinois, in McLean County. The child and mother were pronounced dead at the scene, and the infant was taken to OSF St. Joseph, but was later pronounced dead. According to McLean County Sheriff John Sandage, first responders were called after 3:30 in the morning to the residence in West Wind Estates. The exact causes of death are not yet known, and the fire is being investigated by McLean County Sheriff's Office and the State Fire Marshal's Office. It's situations like these and what happened to my friend Mitchell that make you really think that not to take life for granted. All of us here at Shit Talking send our condolences, thoughts, and prayers to the family of the 3 lost in that overnight fire. I don't have any names, but prayers go to wherever they're needed, so please keep this family in your thoughts. In closing, I want to say stay healthy, hashtag stay at home, hug someone if you can, and always remember to tell those you love that you love them. Remember to come back anytime you need some shit talking.